Lately, there's been talk about an Adderall shortage in the United States. The DEA actually gives a quota. They set a quota, is probably a better way to describe it. They set a quota on how much of each scheduled drug can be made. The drug companies weren't making their quota, right? They weren't making all of the stimulant drugs they've been allowed to produce. Why is that? I think it's genius. With opiates, what they did was they drove demand and then they drove production, and they got caught doing it. Now they're driving demand and they're just sitting back and not making the production. They could produce more drug today and they could sell it, but they're not, because they're being overly cautious. And what's happening? Congress is now saying, hey, DEA, why is there a shortage of this drug? The DEA and the FDA recently wrote a letter asking the drug makers to make more stimulant drugs. An unbelievable thing. What happens now in 10 years when we have a huge problem with stimulants in this country? And by the way, Mexican drug cartels are already knocking off Adderall pills. They're using methamphetamine made in Mexico, disguising it to look like Adderall pills, shipping them into this country. So what happens in 10 years when we have this huge stimulant addiction problem in this country, and we start looking at the drug companies? They can put their hands up and say, we thought there was an issue, but we were actually told by the government to make more of this drug. That never should have happened. The regulators and licensors should never, ever be in the business of telling someone you regulate what production you should make. Leave that to the private sector to determine, because now, in my opinion, we've given them an out.